right, breaking news development now. Over to the pictures coming in of the India-China bilateral taking place between External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and his Chinese counterpart Qin Gang. Remember, this is on the sidelines of the G20 summit, a G20 foreign ministers meeting that's taking place. The two leaders had welcome in the morning. These are the morning pictures, in fact, when the External Affairs Minister had welcomed and received his counterparts from 20 nations, the G20 and other bodies that are part of this meeting as special invitees. And now bilateral taking place. We'll get pictures in a bit. Dr. S. Jaishankar has had those bilateral meetings with all the visiting foreign ministers who are part of the G20 foreign ministers meeting. And with the Chinese counterpart is one of them, of course, but important because this is the second only physical meeting taking place between the two sides at this level post Galwan incident and the build-up along the line of factual control. In Ladakh, and the pictures we are seeing on the one side, Antony Blinken, US Secretary of State meeting Dr. S. Jaishankar, and on the other side of the screen, External Affairs Minister welcoming, shaking hands with the Chinese Foreign Minister Qin Gang, and meeting taking place. Remember, when it comes to the bilateral meetings, obviously the accent is on the issues between the two nations, and Dr. S. Jaishankar has made it amply clear in many of his comments in the last couple of months that situation between India and China is yet not normal. And till that happens, there is no question of having an absolutely okay relationship with the Chinese. The kind of build-up of forces that we have along the line of actual control post-Galwan, it is incumbent upon the Chinese to pull back its soldiers and the military build-up that was done after Galwan, so that the two sides really can come together and work towards normalizing the equation. The China question was in home controversy as well recently, with the opposition trying to take pot shots at the Modi government on the China question. But then External Affairs Minister stoutly defending the government, saying that it's their government which has amassed all those troops there and looked China in the eye, sending across a global message as well that India can stand on its feet and take on any kind of bullying. And India is not the only one, incidentally, which has faced this kind of expansionist bullying by China. At least half a dozen nations in its neighborhood, including Vietnam, including Indonesia, including, among others, Taiwan, of course, facing that. Let's go to Niranjan Narayan Swamy. He's reporting from Mumbai newsroom. Niranjan, over to you. We're getting pictures of the meeting between External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar and his Chinese counterpart. For the optics, you expect that Dr. S. Jaishankar would be doing all the plain speaking that's needed for China to pull back from the heights there in Ladakh along the line of actual control.
Yes, Abhishek, and he's been doing that, and you know that better than anyone else because you've been covering the Ministry of External Affairs. But I think the meeting itself is significant. The fact that the Chinese foreign minister is here in India and is engaging with the Indian foreign minister and the government of India. And it comes at a very interesting time, Abhishek, when you heard what the Italian Prime Minister said while meeting the Indian Prime Minister Modi, saying that the world looks up to Prime Minister's leadership and they're expecting India to play some sort of a central role in the ongoing Ukraine war. Of course, expecting a host of issues to be picked up or to be raised between India and China, including the Ladakh face-off and whatever's happening at the line of action control, likely to figure in one way or the other. And we've always put our foot down and expecting the External Affairs Minister to do the same. And perhaps in the scheme of things, when the Western Bloc is trying to sort of, along with the European nations, that are sort of push India to take a stand on the Ukraine-Russia aggression, hoping that India, because China is standing with Russia, hoping that some sort of a positive role is also being played by India. So very interesting what India does while engaging with China expecting a whole lot of issues to come up, including, the action that has been taken by the Indian government on several Chinese apps, etc. China hasn't been happy about that. They've been talking about it. And Abhishek, you can perhaps tell us what else can we expect in this particular meeting if you've picked up any more details. Abhishek?
Well, obviously, Niranjan, the most important part of this conversation or dialogue between the two ministers has to be on de-escalation and pullback of troops if a relationship between China and India has to be normalized. Having said that, other global issues coming together on G20 agenda, that's also going to be important. Remember, China came out with some kind of proposal on a detent in the ongoing Europe war. In fact, China has taken a very public position in support of Russia and in fact blocked a joint communique of the finance ministers track in Bengaluru of G20, and it's likely that that might sort of continue and have a spillover on the foreign ministers meeting as well. And in that backdrop, if India has a little better leverage with the West and can play some role in bringing about that de-escalation on the other side, that is on the European side, then obviously there would be some meeting of minds. But as I said, Niranjan, the most important aspect of the conversation has to be about Ladakh and the line of actual control and de-escalation there. If China wants that situation with India should normalize, it's become a domestic political issue as well, and it's not going to be any compromise whatsoever. In fact, it's likely that Dr. S. Jaishankar might do some plain speaking with the Chinese counterpart Qin gang. Remember, he's just taken over a few months back from Wang Yi after Wang Yi got promoted into the Politburo of the Communist Party of China. And now we are seeing the Chinese foreign minister traveling to India, obviously to participate in G20, but on the sidelines of which he's having a bilateral meeting with Dr. S. Jaishankar. There are other important aspects of the relationship, but then everything else has been overshadowed, I would say, by the Ladakh standoff, which continues, and with the Chinese side not showing any signs of pulling back, it's likely that that's going to be the most important aspect, the elephant in the room, so to say, when the two leaders continue this conversation one-on-one.